1,
Two.
3.
Fear Talk
Fear
Radio.
Talk Radio. What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the broadcast. We are back with Fear Talk Radio.
Yay!
Yay.
Yeah.
Okay. So today we have a pretty nice lineup of stuff. Just talking about some new films and shows, some new video games coming out. But as always, before we get to that kind of stuff, how we doing? How we doing today, John?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. Busy week at work. For anybody who doesn't know, there has been a hurricane that recently hit North Carolina, which is where I live, and I work in a warehouse, so we have basically been delivering a lot of food, a lot of water to those places that have been affected by the hurricane a lot. So work has been about 50-hour weeks for the past 2 weeks. So it's nice to finally have some free time. Nice to finally have a weekend off. Just kind of chill at home and be able to record a podcast.
No, for sure. And like our hearts go out to anyone affected by the hurricane because it has been, or the two hurricanes that have gone through.
Oh, yeah.
It's been devastating to the lower part of the United States. So, well, even the upper, I mean, it's gotten into North Carolina and whatnot. So it's not like it's a isolated thing to just Florida, Louisiana, those places. It's gone up into North Carolina. It seems like some of those places are maybe some of the most devastated,
Yeah.
So yeah, our hearts go out to them. Other than that, so just working.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Basically trying to get through the week. That's all.
Yeah,
I mean, that's all everyone's doing,
Anything going on with the JD channel?
Been editing a lot more. I've been trying to work a little bit more on the video I said last time I was working on. It's been a little held back because of I tried to get it out this weekend or last weekend. I don't remember which one I said. It just hasn't been. It's going to be a longer video than I thought it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely going to be a little bit more just behind schedule than I wanted it to be. So
Yeah, and everyone, please go subscribe to JDJ619. That's Jonathan's primary channel that he does all of his stuff on. So make sure to go give that a check out.
yeah. How about you, man? How have you? Your birthday was the other day. What'd you do?
Yeah, dude. So this is the first birthday while we've been in this whole Fear Talk Radio era, as I like to call it. And basically, we went to Spirit Halloween. Me and Cameron, she actually got me some Spirit Halloween stuff. I have my setup rolling behind me with some pictures, tape, and all that kind of good stuff. I got some horror games. I mean, I was pretty much loading up on things only for the pod and only for the channel. So it was fun to actually be able to splurge a little bit and get stuff related to horror.
That's sick, man.
But yeah. Aside from the birthday, I have been streaming a lot on TikTok, which I think I'm going to start multi-streaming. But I've been streaming on TikTok, and I think I might move into YouTube too. There's a couple horror games I was streaming. I'm only streaming horror games just because it matches the vibe of the channel itself. And the first game I streamed was Fears to Fathom Home Alone.
I saw that.
Yeah. So this is a game from, I think it was like 2020, but the deal with it is I had never seen it, and it scared the living crap out of me. It was the freakiest game. I'm putting up the jump scare at the end that happened to me up on screen right now. But this was one of the freakiest. I haven't played like new horror games in a while. I'd only played like Five Nights at Freddy's back in the day, older horror games. And so getting into some of the newer stuff is it's something. This game kind of touched on some fears I had as a kid. It's about this intruder, and he's like not a burglar, but he's like stalking your house. So he's watching you from the outside, and it's like framed in this old like pixel-esque kind of vibe. And what happens is he's stalking you. You're just this boy trying to do your homework and whatnot, and nobody's at home, hence the name Home Alone. So what ends up happening is you hear a bang and this person gets inside your house. And I'm going to leave it right there for anyone who wants to go play that game because there's a couple endings and it's terrifying. So if you ever were left home alone as a kid, go play that and it will pull on some of those strings that you might have had of fear from back then. I've also been playing some Silent Hill, the OG Silent Hill. I got a PS1 emulator, and it is so cool. The love and care that goes into old PS1 games is like crazy. These days, I mean, there's so many video games that people just throw out, and there's like not any fault of the developers the majority of the time, but there's little care that actually goes into creating the game itself. With these old PS1 games, I don't think they had that luxury. It feels like every thing that they put into each idea they had was well thought out, was had love put into it, and that's why I'm having so much fun going back and playing some of these older games because it's like they feel like there's love in there and there's passion.
Yeah, they were very limited on what they could do because obviously the cartridges were a lot smaller on like their systems. Like you can't make a whole like 60 gigabyte game on the PS1, so they were very limited on how they were able to do what they wanted to. And I think the way that they handled it was very good. I never really played Silent Hill myself, but watching you play it, I definitely was like, for a PS1 game, I mean, that's like insane.
John, I'm gonna cut this real quick. Let me go turn off this fan.
Okay. When I have something interesting to say, he wants to cut it off. He wants to just run away. He just wants to. He's like, oh, John's talking again. Fucking, let's just cut this.
And we're back. With these old PS1 games, I actually just made a TikTok about it. There's so many limitations that they had to work around. Mm-hmm. And I think we've mentioned this before, but whenever there's a limitation and someone's creative, it ends up being an enhancement. So with the old Silent Hill game, the fog that's in the game was actually created just so that people could not see too far off because the graphics were loading in literally only a couple blocks ahead of them.
Yeah, you can't render too far.
You can't render that far, yeah. And so the fog was there literally just to keep it so people were only seeing this small area in front of them, which I think is like so cool that they had that idea and implemented it, and it became such a integral part of what Silent Hill is.
So for your birthday, that's what you got? You ended up getting a emulator and everything like that? Not like a emulator, because like I think that's just something you download, but like you end up going to Spirit Halloween. Is that the stuff that you got behind you?
Yeah, it's all my stuff behind me right now.
Sick.
And so yeah, and I ended up getting some t-shirts and stuff, and I'm taking a little trip soon to a place that we're going to talk about on Halloween, so just hang around for that.
I know what it is.
You know what it is, but I'm not going to tell anybody here.
Before we get a little too far in, I wanted to bring up your birthday because I actually did end up getting you a gift, and I wanted to share it on the podcast.
What?
Yeah.
A gift?
I did, yes.
What gift did you get me?
So I'm going to send you an image on Discord.
All right.
I have to move my cat. He was sitting on my lap.
Okay, I'm so intrigued.
So I brought up subtle details about it because I never knew how you felt.
Okay.
We talked about a logo for the channel. I have a friend who's an artist. She's a really close friend of mine. She's on the YouTube channel a lot. I think she has her own page. If she does, I'll ask her if she wants us to promote it. We'll put it down in the description. She gave us she's supposed to be finishing up the full concept of it today, but she has a concept image that she gave us that I think that you would really like. So I'm going to send it to you right now.
Okay.
I just sent it to you on Discord.
Dude. Okay. I'm pulling this up for everyone to see. That is so cool. That is so freaking cool. Oh my gosh, dude. I can't. So you got this done for my birthday?
Mm-hmm.
Dude.
Yeah, so that's the reason I asked you. I didn't know how like crazy you wanted it. I obviously like tried to be subtly about it.
No, 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 no. I want it minimalist, and this is like
Right,
perfect.
that's what I'm saying. It's not too much, but it's like something that's not just the words.
Dude, I can't believe you've done this.
She's
Oh my
she's
gosh.
actually planning on finishing it today. She might end up finishing it by the time we while we're recording still. So
I don't think I can this smile is like this isn't me acting for the camera. Like this is like genuine. Like I've been wanting an artist to make this is like better than I could have ever. Dude, this is so cool. Thank you so much. Like
yeah, man.
oh my gosh. This is
Obviously,
like I'm getting chill bumps. This is so cool.
obviously, this is all her. She's the one that drew it up. I'm the one.
Yeah.
I gave her nothing. I was like, hey, this is the theme of the channel. These are channels like he likes. I think because I sent her like Creepcast's like image, and I sent her Dead Meat's like profile picture, and I was like, I think this is something that he would like something like in this style. And she was like, oh, I could do better than that.
Dude, she did.
I showed her the what's the profile picture now, and she was like, oh, honey, oh no.
Thank you. Let me just tell you. The headphones over the skull is such a cool. Like
It looks like
so
just
cool.
your headphones too.
Dude, it's so freaking cool. Oh my gosh. Oh, dude, I am like in heaven right now. This is. I feel like because like having a logo like this is like having a home, and like this is almost like falling into like. This is that's our thing. So. Dude, you're seeing it here. Fear Talk history is being made right now.
Actually,
on the pod.
if you look right here, she just actually sent me a Snapchat. She's working. You can't see my camera, but she's actually working on the logo right now. Like I have it on
really?
I have it on my camera, so you'll be able to see it from there.
Right on, dude. What a good way to start my day. This is awesome, dude. Thank you. Okay, I can't thank you enough. Thank you again.
Yeah, man, for sure. I think.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously. Okay. Also, we need to address this. Last time we recorded the podcast, I think we were at about. I think it was like 250 followers. Do you remember that?
Are you talking 250 on TikTok?
250 on TikTok followers.
Yeah.
I haven't checked this morning. Last night when I checked, we are at 2,200 followers.
We're almost at 24, I think.
We're almost at 20 already. And now we're already almost at 2,400.
I mean, it's like it's just TikTok is like such a okay. So this is I'm not gonna go too far into this, but this is why I love streaming on TikTok. It's because the amount of people that they're willing to show your content to and give you a chance is like amazing. Because like I believe in the quality content that we put out, and the fact that like TikTok is willing to promote it to people and we get that chance. It's so nice, and I don't think you fully get that. You get a little bit with like YouTube Shorts, but with TikTok, they just show your content to people in it, and it shows with like people following and whatnot. Moving forward, let's actually get into some of the news. Today we're starting off as usual with some films and shows that are on the horizon, and the first one we're going to talk about is The Substance, which is already out right now.
I think I heard of that.
So yeah. It's kind of blowing up on like Line and whatnot. It's this body horror movie, and it's basically about this woman who is a fading celebrity, and after a unfortunate series of events, I'm going to be vague with it also, no spoilers because I know how the movie ends, but after an unfortunate series of events and her career is going downwards because she's aging, I should say. She is offered this drug called the activator. Now, what the activator will do is it will basically revert her back into a younger person, a quote-unquote more beautiful person. This brings up a question of like, at what cost will you take a drug to make you look better with adverse consequences? Because what's happening whenever she takes this drug, the activator, is her other self. There's two selves, the pretty like young one and the older one who's still pretty. It's just she's older, but the younger one is glamorous, but the older one is getting killed from the substance. So you see what's happening here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of begging this question, like how far will you go to maintain like beauty standards, especially whenever it's like killing you maybe on the inside. I think this is really cool because in general, like body horror can go too far. I think we see this with the human centipede. It's like nasty for nasty's sake. I don't know. How do you feel about body horror?
I definitely feel that it's something a lot of people can relate with, especially people in the like business of being seen a lot, like whether it's modeling, whether it's celebrities, whether it's something like that, and just always having to look perfect, you know. And I definitely
Hmm.
feel that a lot of people will do anything to be able to keep themselves from aging or looking like they're aging.
Yeah.
Especially me when I get older. It's not obviously I'm not a public figure or anything, but even myself, like in my beard, I've already started growing like white hairs.
Mm.
My dad started graying when he was about my age or about 30, so closer to my age, and it's something that I'm probably gonna deal with when I'm older. Thankfully, I don't have family that loses hair. Uh, all my family has great hair except my grandfather, your dad.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
I'm gonna lose my hair.
yeah, yeah. So, yeah, and I definitely am self conscious about it a little bit. I'm not like too self conscious about it, but I couldn't imagine being a public figure and starting to grow those gray hairs, and I because I feel like everybody is going to see it. I feel like everyone's going to nitpick it. I feel like it's going to be in like every magazine, every
Hmm.
news, like, oh my God, look at this. So I couldn't imagine being in that scenario. And I could see it being realistic of why someone would want to do that and the consequences that come with it. Like, especially like people who get stuff like veneers. Obviously,
Mm.
yes, it makes your teeth look great, but I think there are like a lot of consequences that come with it, or at least a few. Not
Yeah.
I don't know any off the top of my head, but I believe I've heard stuff about it
Yeah. Unless you go to like veneers can look great if you get them done professionally, but
professionally.
unless you go to there's some people who will go to this veneer doctor and he like just butchers people's mouths.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and then their teeth end up like like they don't look terrible, but they chip and there's a lot of issues with it. But,
See,
that's a
I
whole nother thing.
my teeth are the one thing that I am very self conscious about with myself
Hmm. Hmm.
because my teeth as a kid looked awful. It was something I got picked on a lot for in school,
Yeah.
and even having braces, it was a bad. So when my teeth got straight, I will do anything to keep them straight. Like they may not be as straight as they were when the braces first came off because I didn't wear my retainer, but they are not as bad as they were when I was a kid. And I have like nightmares now, like still to this day, of losing my teeth, like teeth just falling out, or
Mm.
like just they're crooked again, just stuff like that. Like those are like
Yeah.
stress dreams that I have. Like it's a reoccurring thing for me because that's something
Yeah.
that I would not want. So I get it, but veneers, I'm like, I love my tooth too much to do that.
Okay, well, then this kind of begs the question. Would there ever be a situation that you would take the activator from the substance that would revert you back to being like younger?
I don't know. I don't think that there really is a scenario where I would do that. I'm not old enough. I'm not in the public image, so who's to say?
Yeah, I don't know if I would either. I mean, like you said, like even with the bit of growth we've had on TikTok, the comments and whatnot, like experiencing it from this side, even this little bit that we've had, is so different from how I thought I would react to like conversations about like yourself and whatnot. And so it kind of makes you rethink. Maybe I don't know what it's like to be in someone else's shoes who's maybe famous because I just think it's such a different world. Like even like someone who works an accountant job compared to this other type of job. It's like you can like try to put yourself in their shoes, but at the end of the day, you'll never truly know how they feel.
Right.
We recently had another movie night, another Jordan Peele movie night, nonetheless. And this isn't a new movie coming out. It's actually quite a for how the internet moves. It's a older movie, even though it's not really. We watched Nope. Last time we watched Us. This time we watched the second Jordan Peele movie, Nope.
Third.
And Jonathan wants to give some insight on this movie.
Okay, I don't want you to get flamed. This is his third movie. This is the second one we watched. That's what Taylor meant.
Oh, it's so Us came out second.
So it was Get Out, Us, Nope.
Interesting. Okay.
So Get Out came out in 2017, Us in 2019, and Nope came out in 2022.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you for correcting that.
But yeah, so we watched Nope. This is going to be a very hot take. If you want to clip this. Out of all the 3 Jordan Peele movies that have came out so far, I think Nope is the best out of all 3.
I can't agree more. The movie itself was such a fun alien movie because I don't want to give a spoiler about it because like the big like
we are big on spoilers on this.
Okay, we're big on spoilers. So do you want to explain to everyone what the alien is?
Yeah. So I like the Alien movie. Obviously, Alien, the old Ridley Scott movies, are my favorite movies of all time. So anything alien related, I'm very like interested in. Even Taylor's other podcast, The Grimm with Tyler, I didn't think I was gonna like that, but then like listening to it, like I got halfway through it, I was very interested because I didn't realize how like into outer space I am with all that kind of stuff. So in Nope, I like the concept that it's not just aliens in a spaceship abducting animals to feast on them I like the idea that the alien ship is the predator, like is the animal, the wild animal that is abducting and capturing and killing, eating, and it's like it's territorial. It's, it doesn't like to be looked at. It doesn't like all this. And it's like a wild animal. And I really like that concept of how do you go about defeating this thing that you don't know anything about? Because it's basically gotten smart enough to be able to stay in one area because Jupe, the ringmaster, his character, was feeding the monster, and it knew that he was going to be fed at every Friday at this time. Basically, he was trying to train the monster, like train the animal. I'm going to say animal. I'm not going to say monster because that's what it's interpreted to be. Obviously, we don't know what the creature is. We don't know where it came from. We just know that it was able to adapt to the Earth's surroundings, hiding in the clouds, going around the mountains. Like it knew like where the horses were. It knew, and the horses were reacting to that kind of stuff like prey do, like, running and being able to get away, hide, all that kind of stuff. And I really, also in this movie, the environment is one of the best in Jordan Peele movies. Like I like I haven't seen Get Out yet. Get Out has the woods, like, the cabin, all that kind of stuff. I really like that. Us has, just the LA kind of vibe. I like that too. But Nope, like in the middle of just bumfuck nowhere, I really like that environment and the way they used it for the setting. Like, I think it was very, very well done.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. The environment itself is in California, and it's right outside of LA, and basically it's like the desert part of LA. So it has this Western kind of feel because the family are a bunch of horse tamers. And so having that Western feel mixed with aliens, it reminded me a little bit of that really crappy movie back in the day, Cowboys and Aliens.
Oh my God.
You remember that?
You just opened up like a memory of mine.
Yeah, dude, that's like my talent is opening up these old memories that people never thought about until.
Yeah. Jesus Christ, I forgot about that.
Yeah, that terrible movie.
But in Nope, it actually has, so as we talked about before, Jordan Peele has some of the greatest, well, I'm not going to say greatest. Jordan Peele has a lot of foreshadowing in his movies that I think are really well done for horror movies. And like, I'm not going to sit here and say that Jordan Peele has good horror movies. I think his movies are more thrillers than they are horror, but I still feel that they are very well done. They're very enjoyable to watch. They're especially going back and watching it a second time, now knowing stuff that you didn't know before, you can see the resemblance of why, like, things that have happened and like see the foreshadowing. Like, oh, that's why they did that like that. Like
Yeah.
at the beginning of the movie, obviously, he kept saying like, don't look the horse in the eyes. They don't like to be looked in the eyes. Whenever that guy turned effects thing around, the horse saw himself, saw something
Yeah.
look in his eyes, and he freaked out. And obviously that was a big part of the alien is don't look at him. Like, it's territorial, and looking at animals in the eyes can show signs of aggression. They can feel threatened, and that's why they attack. And they have a fight or flight. Do they want to run, or are they going to fight? And
There's a big, yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say there's a big through line in this running theme throughout the movie of animals turning on humans, and I mean that actually gets to the scariest part of, for me, was the monkey, the chimp, that basically obliterated that whole room of people, and I think that's just terrifying. It's like almost showing how we have not conquered nature and how nature can sometimes fight back. Because the idea of a chimp pounding and beating everyone to death in a room is probably one of the scariest things you can like experience, because that's unbridled aggression.
So that actually, and I told you this while we were watching the movie, that is based off of a real scenario that had happened with a woman. I do not remember her name. We will look it up. I can look it up later and find you the name. She owned a chimp. I think his name was Tucker or something like that. And she had him for about years. Like, she raised him and she did everything. And, they obviously grew a bond. But wild animals being wild animals, it just one day decided it turned. It beat her. She's alive to this day. And you look at images of her, and I think she has said herself that she doesn't even know how she's alive. Like, it's insane. Like, how I don't
images,
I don't know if we can show images of that.
Well, I can show images from the Nope character, the female who was basically attacked in that one, and she survived. To have to go through that pain, I can't even imagine.
And she was a little girl when it happened too, like in the movie. In the movie, yeah. But this actually leads to one of my favorite foreshadowings in a Jordan Peele movie. So we all know about what was the chimp's name? Do we remember?
Gordy.
Okay, sorry, I couldn't remember the name. So in the show Gordy, obviously they had a chimp, and I just hit my desk. They had a birthday episode. They end up showing balloons. The balloons went too high, hit the ceiling, and it popped. Obviously, that made the animal feel threatened, and he ended up just going wild, ballistic. Jupe, the character played by Steven, is obviously he's hiding under the table, and he's able to get away from the aggression of the monkey. The reason that a lot of the other people had died was because they looked him in the eye. But before we go more into that, I feel we need to go into his showing that he was doing of trying to tame the animal, of the alien. He thought he was chosen, because if you hear before he actually starts the show, he actually whispers to himself, "You're chosen." He felt that he was chosen because he survived the chimp attack. And he witnessed a miracle, aka miracle, which was the shoe that was sitting right up. To him, it's something that it feels like phenomenal, but to him, he saw it as a sign that this is a miracle and I lived, and it's a sign that I was chosen. And that a lot of people have theorized that. And I think that's actually true, because he sees himself as, I can do this because I did this. I am chosen. And I think his wife was definitely feeding into that as well for him. In reality, what ended up had happening, the reason that he ended up surviving the attack was because when he was under a table, there was a piece of cloth that was a little bit see-through that the ape was barely able to see him. So he wasn't really able to fully see that he was looking him in the eye. All he saw was the figure of the boy, and he knew that it was the boy. So when the monkey went to go fist bump him, he actually almost saw Joomp looking him in the eye, and then they shot the monkey. So he thought that he was actually chosen. He thought he saw something that was off the ordinary, thought it as a sign of a miracle, and then knew that he lived because he thought he was able to tame the monkey to be his friend, even though it killed everybody else. So then he feels that he can tame the animal, aka the alien. And it ended up backfiring on him because they were all looking at the alien when it ended up coming out.
Whoa.
That was one of my favorite foreshadowings of thinking that you have this God complex when in reality you lived because of something so slightly small of that, like a piece of cloth that was hanging down that saved your life.
Oh, cool. Okay. I never put those pieces together on that. That is so cool. Okay, that makes like total sense though, because after we watched the movie, I actually did not think about the shoe standing up again. But now that I think about it, I'm like, why was that there? That's like so random. And I can see him perceiving that as a miracle and as like this divine intervention. That makes sense for why he then tries to play with nature with the huge alien spaceship. That's an alien creature. That's a animal.
and that's why he had a whole exhibit of that show. Even though like you would think to yourself, why does someone have a whole entire exhibit of something that traumatically happened to him? Because he thought that as his, blessing in disguise, I guess, or like he saw it as other people saw it as a catastrophe. He saw it as his, his awakening. Like, I am the prophecy. I am the chosen, like stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. You had mentioned something too about the
alien.
The alien and the figure of the alien.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
So at the end of the movie, the alien ends up getting a more of a form of, just something way crazier than what it looked like, and it's like UFO like presence. It ended up like having like wings. It ended up looking like it had a cape and stuff like that. And people have theorized that that is actually what the resemblance of realistic angels look like. Because obviously there are people who see angels as, people with halos, wings, and flying around. But in reality, like for what history has depicted of angels are more of this creature that are like big, like one-eyed, like it looks just like that. I don't know how exactly to explain it. If you look up concept pictures of like realistic angels, you will find that kind of picture.
Yeah. And so you're basically saying, so that alien, Jordan Peele was trying to get across this idea of a huge angel-esque creature. Interesting.
Yes.
So with that, I will say this about Jordan Peele movies. You can tell, like, say what you want about Jordan Peele movies. You can tell that love is put into every scene. He truly cares about the art, and I'm using art in this. He truly cares about the art that he's creating. I think his movies are very artistic. You don't see that with like a lot of these high budget movies nowadays. It goes back to like how so much of the media that's being put out, video games, as I was talking about earlier, it's not as like cared for as it used to be. And I think that Jordan Peele is a great example of a director, of a creator who is making these products that have so much care put into them, so much love, so much passion.
I definitely think that a lot of people who say that Jordan Peele movies are confusing, a lot of people who say like Jordan Peele movies are bad because they didn't understand it. There's a lot of plot holes. I definitely don't disagree with you. I definitely think that I can see why you think that. I definitely do think that if you did a little research, I think obviously if you just look up nope explained or us explained, someone will go through and explain it to you, because I feel like there is more than meets the eye. That's obviously how I found out my information. And
Mm-hmm.
obviously, you
Mm-hmm.
could be like, you're reaching too far or you're thinking too much about it. But if you really think about it, it feels like it makes sense, and it feels like it's intentional.
Yes.
It feels like it was meant to be like that on purpose. And it didn't just happen off of just because, yeah, that's just how we wrote it.
Whenever you're reading a book and you're trying to interpret certain symbols, symbolism that they're trying to convey, a lot of time it is up for interpretation, and people will draw conclusions that maybe the author even didn't even intend for there to be. I think this is the same with movies, and so for someone to say that's not true, that's not foreshadowing and whatnot, Jordan Peele is basically writing a book, and that's what's up on screen. These symbolism, these symbolic things that Jonathan finds, that he reads or he actually comes to his own conclusions about, they're completely valid in the realm of art, because art isn't a set thing. It's very loose, and the connections that you can draw. That's what makes a good piece of art, is whenever you can have these arguments and discussions about like what something means. You can say, well, I think this evidence points to this thing meaning this. So, I mean, that's kind of the point of art in general. And I think a big problem with like commercial projects, like maybe Marvel movies, is that there's no room for debate. Things are what they are. But with these movies, there's wiggle room for your own interpretation. But speaking of art, we have a character coming back to the screen called Art the Clown with Terrifier 3. You like that transition?
Ah, yeah, I get it. Haha.
Yeah. Art!
I don't get it.
Terrifier 3 is coming out October 11th, which that was actually yesterday as of the time we're recording this.
Oh yeah.
And it is basically a Christmas themed Terrifier movie. I hear this one's really good. The reviews are kind of like 70s ish for the critics and whatnot, but from what audience reaction has been, it's pretty decent. So here's the synopsis. After surviving Art the Clown's Halloween massacre, Sienna and her brother struggle to rebuild their shattered lives. As the holiday season approaches, they try to embrace the Christmas spirit and leave the horrors of the past behind. However, just when they think they're safe, Art returns, determined to turn their holiday cheer into a new nightmare. I've seen online, and I do not know if this is clickbait. Everywhere is saying that there's this insanely gruesome scene that people are having to walk out of the.
I think the intro.
Is it the intro? People are saying there's this insanely gruesome scene in this
Now,
movie.
a lot of people were saying that the intro is like one of the hardest scenes to watch. But usually when you hear stuff like that, you kind of have to think to yourself, are these people who have never really watched horror movies going to see it and then being like walking out? Is this a marketing technique, or is this actually a fucking hard scene to watch? Because again, I have to be careful about what I hear online, because then you end up watching a movie like Skinamarink.
Yeah, and I think you had the same reaction whenever I sent you. There's this short film that was, I think it was released on YouTube, that I was sending you. It's kind of popping off on TikTok, at least horror TikTok for the past month. Is Milk and Honey. I think that's the name of it. It's been popping off, and I sent Jonathan it, and he said this looks exactly like a Skinamarink. There's a lot of tactics that people will use to try to get their movies watched, and I'm not saying Milk and Honey is doing this, but you'll see it like pop off like Terrifier 3 has the most gruesome scene ever, and then it's like this very mid scene. I don't know if that's true. I'm just saying, like, you're right to be skeptical of these things.
Yeah, you have to be very skeptical, because like, I don't know, you hear a lot of things just about like horror movies in general, and it's like, oh my god, this is one of the craziest horror movies of all time, and it's like,
Yeah.
and you go and watch it and it's like, what the fuck was that? That was dog shit.
Terrifier 3, here's a little bit more information about it. It's a Christmas supernatural slasher film. It received very positive reviews from critics whenever it was screened. So, but critics all the time, whenever a critic might give a review, it's not always translated to being positively received from audiences. So you never know. We'll get back to you on our thoughts on Terrifier. I think for a movie night, oh, one of the Terrifier movies would be funny. I actually, you texted me and you said you started it and didn't finish it. I've actually been at a friend's house where they were watching the first one, and I did not like pay attention, but I was in the room, so I like know bits and pieces from the movie, but I don't know the full thing.
The first like kind of like ideas that I got of it was I think it's really well put together. It was a little much of a slow burn at first, like watching it, and like I don't think we turned it off because like it was a boring movie. I think we turned it off because it was getting late and we had to go to bed. I have to get up early for work. It was just a movie we never picked back up. I'm not saying I wouldn't. I definitely would pick it back up and try to watch it again. Basically, all I remember was it was two girls coming from a party, and they end up going to a restaurant, and Art the Clown comes in, and he's just basically like poking fun at them, like, you know, like he's just peekaboo. He's like poking around at one of the girls. He like gives her a ring, stuff like that. And then I remember they leave, and I think he ends up killing the like chef people, and he ends up making a jack-o'-lantern out of one of their heads. And I was like, oh gosh, that's a crazy scene. But I mean, like, it's not.
Yeah.
I feel like also with horror movies, I'm really able to kind of depict like, you know, fiction from nonfiction, especially watching those types of horror movies. And I think that's the reason I like found footage, is because I feel like it feels more realistic, and it's like it feels like these are actual characters that are getting stuck in those scenarios, where like movies like that, it's kind of hard to be invested.
Yes.
Not hard to be invested. That's like the wrong choice of words. And I need to be careful how I choose my words, because people definitely take that stuff seriously, as we've seen in the comment sections of a lot of our videos. I mean it as it's still good. It's just like, oh, I know this is fake. That's it. That's all it is.
How do you feel about clown movies?
Clown movies are not really scary to me. I think there's one movie that did it really well. Obviously, we've talked about this on the podcast. Hell House. Hell House did clowns really good. It's fine. I'm not really scared of clowns. Maybe that's why I'm not really scared of it. Like Colleen, she's terrified of clowns.
Yeah.
But I don't really like, clowns aren't scary. Like if I go into a clown house, like I'm obviously it's scary, but I'm not like clowns are not my fear. Like snakes are what I'm afraid of.
Me too, dude. Clowns don't scare me at all. Snakes terrify me, but clowns. I never. I mean, I guess I understand. I mean, they look very uncanny and like unnatural, so that's understandable why like you'd be scared of them. But overall, to me at least, they're not the most terrifying thing in the world.
Right.
So I mean, it sounds like we're both afraid of creatures. That might make this next movie terrifying, because there is a new Japanese horror movie coming out that I wanted to talk about that probably nobody listening to this or either of us will watch, called Orang Ikan. I'm probably pronouncing that so wrong, but this is a new movie inspired by the horror classic Creature from the Black Lagoon. The upcoming international creature feature, Orang Ikan, is set to premiere at the Tokyo International Film Fest. The website Sci-Fi Japan reports this week. The site also shares the first images of the monster movie, which you can find on screen right now. I really find this interesting because it looks so similar to Creature from the Black Lagoon. Did you ever read these books whenever you were younger?
I didn't. No.
Yeah, they were like pretty big at my school, and I used to read them. Let me read the synopsis of this movie. A Japanese hell ship transports prisoners of war to occupied territories for slave labor. On board the ship is Sato, a traitor to the Japanese who is being sent back to the motherland to be sentenced to death. As further punishment, Sato is shackled to another POW, a British soldier named Bronson, who holds nothing but hatred for Sato because of his Japanese nationality. When the Hellship is torpedoed by Allied submarines, Sato and Bronson are thrown overboard and washed ashore on a deserted island. But they are not alone. Bronson and Sato are hunted by monstrous creatures, the orang-akan. Not pronouncing that right.
Sorry, I got scared.
I know, it's terrifying. But do you know, it'll stop at nothing until both men are dead. They put aside their hatred for one another in an attempt to survive the island and kill the creature before it kills them first.
Dude, I am such a big fan of haters to lovers.
Haters to lovers, dude. I mean, other than the haters to lovers part, this sounds like Predator to me. This sounds like Predator.
Yeah?
Like two people trying to take down this creature. If you're going to talk about creature features, Predator, to me at least, is one of the best creature features there is. I mean,
you talking about the first one, like the original Predator movie
with Arnold. Okay. With Arnold, yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Dude, that movie is so good. You know, creature features kind of started back in the early 30s and 40s with like King Kong and movies like that, and like they had Dracula, but I really like it whenever they dive deeper into like there actually being a creature. That's what Creature from the Black Lagoon did with basically it was a scientific expedition searching for fossils on the Amazon River, and they find this gill man in the legendary Black Lagoon. So that's kind of the whole synopsis of that. And it's this old iconic movie. It's just cool to see like a studio overseas, like basically putting in effort to make another Creature of the Black Lagoon movie today. Cause I don't think that that's really been done in the States yet.
Yeah. I saw something the other day that said Predator was one of the first bro movies ever made. It's just guys being guys.
Just guys being guys. I love that image where they're
yes. I love
doing that.
Big ass arms.
That is so great. Are you a fan of like creature features?
Sorry, I thought I saw something in my drink. What?
Are you a fan of creature features?
Yeah. I feel there are movies that do it really well. Obviously, there are movies that do it really shitty. I don't know any off the top of my head, but for the most part, you know, it's really not. It's really cool to look into it and like, you know, watch like how they depict those monsters in like as a movie form. And I'm gonna be honest, a lot of older movies I feel do it really well.
They do. It goes back to that love. Practical effects, supreme.
Right, exactly.
Are you drinking?
No.
Are you waiting for me to say something?
Yeah, I was just like, yeah. I just said, yeah, I agree. And then we were just sitting here in silence. You shouldn't cut that. You just like, you just keep that. Staring
I'm going
at
to keep
each
that
other. And people listening are like, what? Did my podcast turn off?
I'm definitely keeping that in. Oh, man. Okay. But, yeah, so new creature feature coming out. Foreign movies typically do horror better than we do in the States. I hate to say it, but like there's a lot of great French horror movies.
Hold on. Sorry. I got to talk about one of my favorite zombie movies of all time. Train to Busan. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
I've seen clips.
Train to Busan is one of the best zombie movies ever made. And it is a Japanese I think it's a Japanese film.
Yep, I'm looking at it right now.
It is such a good fucking movie. If you have not seen Train to Busan, watch it. So good.
In terms of amusement this Halloween season, all I'm going to say is everyone look up your local haunted houses, and we're going to talk more about haunted houses in a little bit, but look up your local haunted houses. There's a lot of fun local things that go on, and every town pretty much has a haunted house. You know what I'm talking about. So go look it up and support them. I know the one back home from where I'm from initially, it's run by firefighters, and I think a lot of the proceeds go to the fighting department. So yeah, just go support your local haunted houses this Halloween season.
But yeah, go to pumpkin patches, go do all the fun things that everybody does for Halloween. Go be cutesy with your partner. Take the pictures, do what you want. You know, go have a good time. It's Halloween.
Amen to that. It's a lot of fun. The fall weather makes it especially fun and nice. So, yeah, go have some fun out there and support your local businesses. Next up on the docket is video games. On October 8th, my birthday, the Silent Hill 2 remake came out, and it has been a raving success. Everyone's loving this thing. We don't need to get too much into Silent Hill in general because I do want to have a big coverage of that in the future. But basically, this game, if none of you know about it, is about this man named James, and he returns to where him and his late wife made so many memories, Silent Hill. What he finds is a ghost town prowled by the disturbing monsters and cloaked in a deep fog. He's confronted with monsters, and he has to face elements of his past coming back to bite him in the butt. So there's a lot of cool creatures. I've been covering a lot of them on the TikTok. And this game, it looks like they've done is they've gone and they've changed it from this top-down perspective to like more of a Resident Evil 4 kind of look, which looks absolutely awesome. Like, I want to play it. It's just quite expensive right now.
Isn't it like $70?
Yeah, yeah. And I was talking to someone in chat, and they were saying it was completely worth it to get it for that much money, but it's like 14 hours of gameplay. I just don't know. I'm gonna wait till it maybe goes on sale.
It's like 20. It's like what? I think I did my math wrong. I about said $20 an hour. It's like I can't do the math off the top of my head. Never mind.
I'm leaving that in.
That's fine. That's fine. I was like, dude, it's like $20. I was like, no, don't say that. But I think it's the same way that they did the Resident Evil 2 remake. They just like updated it like a hell of a lot. Because like there's a difference between like a PS3 remake versus like a PS2 or PS1. Because like I feel like when you do a PS3 remake, I feel a lot of games are just like, oh, here's the game in windowed, and here's the game full screen HD'd. There's no changes, there's nothing, and maybe like a little bit of better graphics. That's it. I feel like with these games though, these games deserve those remakes because obviously there was a lot of issues that they had. But a lot of people can look past those issues and be like, the story's good, the gameplay's good, and they can still enjoy it.
Yeah, and this is by far the top one in the series from what I know. And I'm just happy to see that everyone's kind of hopping on it right now. The characters are being reintroduced to a new audience, and yeah, it's pretty cool. Until Dawn is being remastered.
Woo!
Yeah. What do you know about that?
As I was just saying, a PS4 game updated to PC and stuff. Like all it did was change the frames, better shadows, better quality. That's it. It's the same. It is the exact same game, just better graphics and stuff like that. So if you haven't played it, I definitely recommend it. If you end up going back and playing the old one, I don't think you're gonna get a different experience than playing the new one. It's kind of like how like The Last of Us Part 1, now they call it, for like the PS5, the enhanced edition did it, but it's the same. You'll still get the same immersion as playing the PS4 and the PS3 version.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I don't think there really is a difference.
I've seen side by sides with the Until Dawn remastered compared to the old one, and the graphics are insanely well done now. I mean, they were good in the past, but like, I mean, textures are like, it makes the old game look bad. Like, it's that good.
The Wendigo looks really good too. Like they made them look more dirty. Like more scary, like
the teeth. It's more terrifying.
The teeth. Yeah, the teeth. That's exactly what I was about to say.
Yeah. That's actually I think we might have seen the same video.
Right.
But yeah, it looks awesome. Cool. I actually just purchased. I didn't tell you about this yet, but I just purchased the original Alien Isolation because it went on sale on Steam.
Fuck.
And
yes.
I'm gonna play it on stream at some point.
I love Alien Isolation.
So yeah, I mean that's a lot of freaking stream content right there.
That is yes, that is a very big game to play.
And it had
Uh,
all the extra. I don't. It said that there's DLC, and I got that.
yes, it's like there is DLC, but it's not like I think you play as the original crew from the first one. So like Ellen Ripley
Interesting.
and her crew, like you get to choose who you want to play. Obviously, if you don't choose Ellen Ripley, you're an idiot. But no, it's like a little side story. It's dope. It's really cool.
Cool. And the second one, I need to play it because the second one is going to be coming out.
Second one.
Alien Isolation 2.
Are you talking about what I put into the notes?
Yeah.
So, going on that, no, there isn't going to be a second one because there hasn't been any makes or talks about a second one. The reason I put that there was to be able to say something about why isn't there one? Why isn't there a second one?
Well, Jonathan, I hate to burst your bubble. Not even burst it, but this will make you happy. 5 days ago, Alien Isolation 2 was confirmed. IGN just released this article.
You fucking kidding?
Yeah. Today, I'm delighted to confirm on behalf of the team that a sequel to Alien Isolation is in early development. We look forward to sharing more details with you when we are ready.
Let's go!
Dude, he put this in the docket. I thought I saw that there's one coming out, but he put this in the docket saying Alien Isolation 2 question mark. It's coming out, and that's why I was like, it is happening. I looked this up.
I'm so happy.
I was like, I knew this was a thing that's happening. I think you literally put this in 5 days ago whenever they announced it, like the day of.
Yeah, because I was like, I'm going to talk about how upset I am that there isn't a second one. I literally had a whole thing planned being like, why isn't there a second one? They can easily make a second one because it is confirmed that Amanda Ripley lives after the first one, after the first game, because in the second movie, Aliens, made in 1986, they said that she died at the age of 66. So she did not die in the first one.
I'm so hyped. I have to play the first one. That's why I was like, I knew there was a second one coming out.
Even if they don't follow Amanda, they could follow anybody in that game.
We just need an alien.
The alien
thing.
AI.
Speaking of alien video games, I'm so sorry to jump topics.
No, go ahead.
Did you know that there's a PS1 Alien Resurrection video game?
I think I did. I did know that.
I have it, and I'm going to play it on stream. I have it downloaded to my PS1 emulator.
That'll be sick.
I did not know that there was a PS1 game made of the worst movie in the franchise.
Dude, that just woke me up. I was awake already, but that really just got me excited.
Why is this podcast, this episode filled with so many freaking surprises?
Oh my God.
Dude, hype is real.
That is so insane. Because I was literally telling Colleen when we were watching Aliens, I was like, Alien Isolation is one of the best adaptations for a horror game. The AI is amazing. The environment is amazing. It's so just fucking good. If you have not played Alien Isolation, go play it if you love horror games. The only game that I could think of that has that same horror element is PT, which is a Silent Hill, or was supposed to be a Silent Hill thing, but is now canceled, and they made Death Stranding.
Yeah, I'm looking at the what's it called? The article right now. Please stop playing the video. Okay, I'm looking at the article right now talking about it, and basically there's no release date yet, but people have been it's the 10-year anniversary. This past October 7th was the 10-year anniversary since the first one came out. That's when they right before, or that day is whenever they announced that the second's coming. And there's not a release date just yet on it, but
that's fine. I don't, as long as it's in development, I don't care. Take 2 more years, take 3 years. I don't care. Get that game out.
It's a thing that's happening. That's the cool part.
Oh my God. Even, dude, for a 10-year-old game, that game still looks amazing.
Yeah, that's what the article is literally saying. Like the people for IGN were saying, this is like remains one of like the best solo horror experiences
But
that there
also,
are.
fuck IGN. Do you know what they gave Alien Isolation when it first came out?
What?
I think they gave it like a 5 out of 5, like 5 out of 10, or like a 6 out of 10. And
I'm looking
everybody
this
who
up.
played it was like, "Are you dumb?"
Yeah, Alien Isolation, they gave it a 5.9. That's what IGN gave Alien Isolation, and
Dude,
everyone
everyone was
hated
pissed
that.
at that. Everyone was like, you are fucking stupid."
What could they have disliked about it?
They said that it was very like,
It's slow. It takes a bit longer for the alien to
yeah,
show up and cause trouble. They didn't feel threatened for the first hour.
bull fucking shit. Like, shut up, IGN.
It drags on. It falls apart as you begin to tumble out of orbit
No, it
and
doesn't.
towards a gas giant.
No, it doesn't.
I'm just gonna keep on reading what they hated. Um,
It's gonna piss me off.
you have so many errands to do along the way,
No,
and not to mention the incessant and irritating backtracking across the entire ship.
you don't.
Isolation falls into a pit of frustrating repetition no one can escape. Like so many games before it, it simply makes you spend hours running through a funless gauntlet, and you have to contend with everything you've been thrown at thus far, like the alien, androids, and humans.
I'm getting a headache. Listen to this.
They said hard difficulty, how it's recommended to be played on, was a terrible decision. The xenomorph can get you anywhere at any time, giving you no opportunity to avoid death. If you run, it hears you like a pin drop. It can hear a pin drop.
So
A flamethrower or a Molotov can ward it off for a moment, but the alien just comes right back.
you know, I think a lot of people speculate because IGN is known for doing this. They have someone who plays the game as fast as they can to try to beat it, so they can make their review as fast as possible.
That makes sense.
And I get it, yes, but I don't. I think when you do that, I think you are not able to fully understand and enjoy the game to
You're
be
missing
able
the
to
game.
give it. Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of like someone in the music industry said this, especially in the rap industry. I believe it was Jay-Z. He said you can't listen to an album one time and give a review for an album. You have to listen to it multiple times. You have to listen to it backwards. You have to listen to it like just many times for at least like a few days to a week. Then give your review. You
I
can't listen
completely
to
agree.
it one time and then just give a review. And I believe that's the same for games.
Yeah, I think that they're just they like to bump out reviews.
Yeah, right. And like it's just it doesn't I don't know, it doesn't feel right. Like it doesn't like when I watch a review of someone who does a game and they say I took my time with this and I know I'm late to the party of this game, but I really wanted to take my time and enjoy this game. I know that this is going to be an honest review of a game.
I don't know. I typically do look at IGN reviews, and it's unfortunate because that's the first one I go to. But you're right. I mean,
Everyone
times
does though.
I've heard, I don't know if this is true, so please correct me if I'm wrong, that sometimes they'll give good reviews.
To like bigger AAA studios.
Yes.
Yeah. They do
For, like,
that. They do
unknown
that
reasons.
because of, or at least I know some companies that do that because they want that like early access, like scoop, like, hey, we played the game early. This is everything that you need to know before playing this game. They can make all the videos of that. They can
Yeah.
have their review ready to go as soon as the game comes out. And so sometimes they're a little bit more lenient on that kind of stuff because they want that good stuff. And there's a lot of YouTubers who are especially into that kind of stuff.
I wanted to ask you real quick. So, the storyline, are they continuing it or like because it's so convoluted?
It's a little hard to fully give like context on where the story is going right now because we're still a little lost on where the story is going. From what I know everything for the Ether story, which is everything from World at War to Black Ops 4. Black Ops 4 is where it ended. And that's what I know about.
So Black Ops 6 is picking up on a new timeline.
Yes.
Interesting. The Dark Aether timeline.
So, and apparently at the end of Cold War, you end up seeing that Richtofen is a part of this timeline, and we think that he is the main villain. In Black Ops 6, we actually, in one of the cutscenes, they actually talk about, going to fight Dr. Richtofen. So we know that he is the villain of the story in this. We don't know why he's the villain. We just know that he is the villain.
Because he was the hero in the last one, yeah?
Premise Richtofen was.
Yeah.
Ultimate's Richtofen, no. He is a huge villain.
Okay.
Because he's the one that created the zombies. He killed Maxis, tried to kill Samantha, and he actually tortured Dempsey, Takeo, and Nikolai, wiped all their memories to make them help him fight zombies.
Gotcha.
So
okay.
he is the villain of that story, and he's basically trying to do whatever he can to take over. That's why he's bad. He's bad. That's all you need to know. He's bad. But Premise Richtofen is a different variation of Richtofen that is actually trying to save the world. So, he still did bad things, but he has better goals.
Understanding that all of this is very confusing to someone who's not in the world of zombies, I am linking below some videos I'm going to get from Jonathan explaining the whole timeline if you're interested.
There's a 6-hour long video, 7 hours almost actually, that explains all the timeline from World at War to Black Ops 4 if you want to listen to that.
Hey, if you're interested in lore, if you're a lore kind of person, that's where to go, man. Zombies.
Look, man, there is so much stuff that goes into it. It's insane. I think there's a lot of thought. Maybe there were things that they thought of along the way, but I feel like a lot of it was planned from the beginning.
Well, if I can get to wrap it all up, if I can get a expectation, what is your expectation for Black Ops 6 Zombies?
Can I give what the fans are saying right now?
Yeah.
So the fans right now, Black Ops 6 is actually releasing with 2 maps, Terminus and Liberty Falls. That's what it's called. The way that Treyarch has explained these 2 maps is it's going to be like Black Ops 3, where Liberty Falls is the giant map where it's more casual. This is your camo grind map, but there's still going to be an Easter egg. It's still going to be a part of the story. It's going to be important. There's going to be an Easter egg. It's going to be like that, but it's a more casual map and it's not as hard. Terminus is going to be your harder map that's set on an island prison in I don't know what island it is, but it's in the jungle prison kind of area. And you're able to go from different islands. You're able to go on a boat. You're able to swim. It's a lot of cool stuff to think about. And there's a lot of new systems that they're bringing in. They're bringing the Gobblegum system back. They're bringing you're able to turn into a mangler. If you don't know what a mangler is, it's just this big robotic armored zombie that you're able to turn into. I don't know how that works, but you just are. There's different creatures around the maps and stuff like that. And the map looks cool. Terminus isn't what people were worried about. It was Liberty Falls that a lot of people were worried about, because as soon as the map released and a lot of YouTubers were able to go out and play it, the biggest thing that people were noticing was it just looks like a multiplayer map that they just implemented zombies into. There's no atmosphere. There's no, as people are saying, I don't use this word, but the word that people are using is aura. There's no aura to the map.
It didn't have Riz.
And that's not the word I would use. I would say the atmosphere is very bland. I do agree with that. But I don't think that we saw everything that they had to offer, because obviously they were just showing what the map is going to look like. a lot of the Easter eggs and everything, a lot of the side Easter eggs and the like some missions were turned off because it was the early experience.
Yeah.
And they didn't want to spoil too much. So that's what people were able to see. And a lot of people are worried that that's what the map's going to come out to be like, which Treyarch's already confirmed, no, it's not. Another thing that people were worried about is the HUD. If you look at HUDs from other Zombies maps, and I think one HUD that does it really well is Black Ops 3. Different HUDs for different maps. Like when you're in Zetsubo, it's more of like a green, like jungly like HUD. And then when you're in Shadows, it's more like bright because you're in the city, like bright lights and stuff like that. It just kind of difference. It differences with what map you're playing it on. And I like that. The problem with Black Ops 6 is it looks like Cold War's HUD. There's a mini map.
I'm looking at it right now, yeah.
There's health bars. A lot of people don't like that.
I don't like the health bar.
I don't like the health bars either. But you can turn that off, which I'm probably going to do. And it just really sucks that a lot of people wanted it. And so Treyarch apparently has been listening and they're working on fixing that right now.
Awesome. Okay, I'm happy that they're listening because that's so important for the lifespan of a game.
And that was
like making sure.
That was one of their main points that when they were releasing Black Ops 6 Zombies and they first started talking about it, they said, we have been listening. We are going to be fixing the changes that a lot of people want. Obviously, we know you don't want open world, so we're going to bring back round base. Gobblegums, we know y'all liked it. We're going to try to bring it back, improve on it. We heard that the complaints about it, the Cold War being too easy because you have unlimited revives. It's just too easy. So you only are limited to 3 revives and stuff like that. But then when people started playing the game and people started seeing other people play it, there were people who were getting to like round 50 on like their first go.
Interesting.
Do you know how insane that would have been in like Black Ops like 1 or 2? Or like first day people to get around 50? That's not
I was just watching a video last night on Call of Duty Online, the old Chinese Call of Duty that they had. They didn't have any of the other ones. So I was watching this video on that, and their zombies was significantly different from ours. For one, they had cyborg zombies instead of zombies, and they had blue blood because you can't. There's laws against censorship laws in China, and so they can't have anything too bad. But another thing that was different about their zombies is that it was insanely easy. You were able to get to super high rounds that you'd never be able to get to on other games. I actually just watched another video on top of that too about zombies and the highest rounds achieved on each map legitimately, not through any mods or hacking or anything like that. And the ones that you can get on Call of Duty Online, which servers got shut down in 2021, but the rounds you could achieve were so high. And if you don't know anything about Call of Duty Online, this game was basically a mixed bag of every Call of Duty that was coming out, and they would just implement every story. And it had a campaign that mixed all the campaigns together. It was like the weirdest thing ever, but really cool nonetheless.
I definitely remember seeing a lot of that, especially Call of Duty Mobile, or like the Zombies Mobile that was on for Black Ops 1. I don't know if you remember that.
And there was a Zombies mode on Call of Duty Mobile for the first few months, and then they took it off and they sent it over to Call of Duty Online. The reason they shut down Call of Duty Online is because Call of Duty Mobile has been popping up, and Call of Duty Mobile is getting better, and they're just letting that replace online, which I think is dumb.
Making more money.
It's making more money. I think it's totally dumb. Oh, you don't know this, but here's a fun fact that I saw in the video too, is that they would hate this in the States. You can buy respawn tokens and so in zombies. So the account that this guy was using had 100 revive tokens, and he was just able to keep on reviving himself every time he died. And I mean, these are real money that you're having to pay for these things.
That's a little insane. But the thing is you could say the same thing about gobblegums, because people hate gobblegums. Why you had to use real money to buy gobblegums and blah 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 blah. You know what? I like the gobblegums. Fuck everybody that hates gobblegums.
You do?
I don't care. I don't care if I can open up the map with one gobblegum. I don't care if I can get all the perks with one gobble gum. I earned it. I didn't spend. Okay, that's a lie. I did spend a little bit of money, but I worked for all the gobble gums that I had on the PlayStation 4, and I got to round 100 using some of those cheap gobble gums. And you know what? I still got to round 100. I don't care what anybody says. But you know what?
Man.
But you know what? That's why I like the PC version, because there's a mod on there where it just gives you all the gobble gums.
Yeah.
Unlimited.
I was gonna say we should definitely do some zombie streams. If I end up getting Black Ops 6.
Oh, I'm gonna find it for you. I'm gonna get it for you. Don't you worry, sweetheart.
Dude, I'd love to do like a round 100 stream with you.
So, anyways, my thoughts on Black Ops 6. How do I think it's gonna be? I think it's gonna be a good game. I think, at least okay. That doesn't mean I think it's gonna be only okay. I think that there's a lot of promises that they are making that I think are going to be really good. I have to be very careful, though, because the last time I got super hyped about a zombies was Black Ops 4, when they were releasing 4 maps in total at launch. And that was a huge catastrophe. So 2 maps, one simple, one hard, I think is super nice, because I think that simple map is going to be fun for camo grinding, and I think that other map is going to be fun for trying to discover like a whole bunch of like side Easter eggs, because apparently this map's going to have like a shit ton of side Easter eggs.
Yeah.
And that'll be really fun.
I'm looking forward to watching some of it, and if I end up purchasing it or whatever, I'm excited to play it. It looks fun. I haven't been excited for a zombies game since World War II, and that was like, zombies wasn't fun.
We were pretty excited for Cold War when it was coming out, because we were living together.
Oh wait, yeah, I did play Cold War. I'm sorry, I totally forgot that. I think it'll be a success. I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be good. Our hot take of the day is kind of not really a hot take, but it's basically a hot take on haunted houses. What makes a good one? I figured this would be in line with the spooky season. So, one Reddit user says, a very small detail, but once I went through one of the dark rooms and couldn't see anything. I was waiting for a jump scare, and instead, they had hung tiny threads from the ceiling, which felt exactly like spiderweb or something creepy crawly on your face. It freaked me out so much. We couldn't see what it was, but it kept brushing against us. Sensation scares like this are so effective. And I'll just read through. I have 2 more Reddit users. I'll read through those, and then we can talk about what we think. The ones that catch me off guard when they're talking about haunted houses. I can vividly remember one a long time ago where we went into a room and there's a guy with a chainsaw that isn't running. He pulls the cord a few times to get it going, and it won't start. He breaks character and laughs and seems embarrassed. He tells us to move on. Right as we start to move through, another actor with a running chainsaw runs through the door. Also, ones that get creative with how you move through the maze itself. I went through a haunted forest where, to continue down the trail, we had to climb into a wrecked ambulance through the back doors and exit through the passenger door. Last Reddit user says, for me, it's all about ambience. A detailed set, attention to how lighting sets a tone, sound effects, or lack thereof, and the use of open space versus claustrophobic enclosures. Those all things make me want to break. I genuinely feel that you could have a sparse handful of actors strategically placed if you have the environmental horror down. You could create this tension the whole way through. So, they all have some opinions on what makes a good haunted house. Jonathan, to you, what makes a good haunted house?
How about you give me your opinion, and then I'll go.
I think a good haunted house does not rely on flashing lights, all this kind of crap. That, gets me, and it stresses me out. But I think a good haunted house, like they're saying, plays with your senses, and not in the jump scare, kind of way. I think there needs to be at least a jump scare or two in a haunted house, of course. But I think what's really important is dread. This word basically is like fear of something to come, basically. If you can create dread through environment, like these people are saying, through atmosphere, through sounds, and I think subtlety is your best friend when making a haunted house. You want to basically make it to where the vibe itself is so creepy and you're so unsettled. I don't even know like the best ways to do it, but that's I think the way to go for it is creating a subtle environment that lures you. It could lure you into comfort and then immediately break that. Like maybe have you feel like, oh, these first few rooms aren't that bad. And then you just walk into like a completely dark room, but there's someone in there with you.
Yeah.
That's creepy, you know, and maybe someone touching gently with on your legs or something like that, you know, just something freaky.
I don't think I'm the right person to ask about this because I have definitely worked in more haunted houses than I have going through haunted houses. And the only like real haunted houses that I've gone through are ones they have at like the state fair or like you know at you know the you know like corn mazes, stuff like that. But you know, I did a lot of them for like school. I did a lot of them for family events.
I'm gonna stop you for a sec. Can you explain what you did for your school with the ambulance and the car crash?
That was actually for prom promise.
Yeah, can you explain that? Because I think it's insane.
You think that's insane?
I think it's crazy. Yeah, explain it. Explain it.
So, anyone? I thought a lot. Did your high school not do this?
Mine didn't, but they did show car crashes, very graphic car crashes.
So, so what they did, prom promise is obviously a big thing that they do for seniors who are going to prom. Obviously, they know people aren't stupid, and they know kids are going to find ways to get alcohol, stuff like that. So obviously, they want everybody to be safe during that kind of stuff. What Prom Promise does is they take all the seniors outside, and they have you know, people from the theater department come out and, you know, reenact a car crash scene where someone is on you know, there's like people like, so what they actually do is they have a stunt guy. They have like two cars that are just beat up cars. They have a stunt guy. The stunt guy actually drives the car full speed into the other car. And then they have the actors come out and they, you know, reenact the scene of, you know, being out there and like you know, the drunk driver, the, you know, the people who got hit in the car. And then there's an actual police officer out there who, you know, does like, they actually have police officers come out there to talk to the people. They have ambulance, they have a gurney, and there's actually dead. Like someone actually has to die. And they put them in a gurney and everything and put them into the back of the ambulance.
Okay, let me preface this, everyone,
Yeah.
before he continues. In my psychology courses, my social psych class, we learned that fear tactics do not change behavior. This is fear tactics, and I do not know why it's still used. It you know, people can argue it's good for them to see that. No, fear tactics do not change behavior.
It really doesn't. But so, so I was playing the drunk driver. So I actually had to go through a you know, what do you call it when you get pulled over and they're trying to see if you're drunk?
Field sobriety test.
Yes, field sobriety test. That's what it is. So I actually had to do a real life field sobriety test in front of a cop, and this same cop is a cop that pulled me over for the first time. and I don't
Nice.
know, and I don't know if he recognized me, but I recognized him, and I was like, "Oh shit, I know you." I didn't say that, but it was kind of funny that I was going to DUI test, and they ended up. Obviously, I had to act like I was drunk, and I ended up getting, you know, pulled over. I didn't even see like all the rest of the stuff because I'm taking a DUI test, and all I see is someone getting in the back of a gurney, like in the ambulance, and I'm like, "Oh fuck."
Yeah.
Like this is more scary for me than probably the people watching it, because it's like now I feel like I'm the one that just killed that person.
Dude, that's crazy. Dude, I love that. Okay.
So they end up putting me in handcuffs. I get put in the back of the car. And the only thing that I remember was one of my friends took a picture of me getting handcuffed and went, "Free my boy John. He ain't do nothing wrong."
That's awesome. That's awesome.
But no, so it was actually really crazy to think of. Colleen actually did it for her school as well. And she was the one that got into Gurney and like was the dead person. Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it's
that's
insane.
crazy.
So obviously, yes, don't drink and drive. And I know kids are gonna be kids, but obviously keep yourself safe. And I definitely don't think that was the way to do it. I think the only person that got affected by any of that and thought to themselves, maybe this isn't a good idea, was me.
And here's the deal: incurring trauma on people isn't the way to get them to stop to do stuff. Stopping them to do stuff. The way to get people to stop doing stuff, at least from the research, is to show them facts. That's at least what the research says. Whether or not you believe that is up to you, but it's through showing facts of this causes that, therefore, like just laying it all out. I mean, you see this with basically teaching people not to, or trying to instill don't do drugs into younger kids. The DARE program did not work because it was fear tactics. What does work is just showing them the facts of, hey, if you do this, this is going to cause your lungs to form like these popcorn-esque things. You know, that's why you shouldn't vape. There's ways to do it, and it's more so through showing facts instead of scaring them. Because, I mean, all you're going to do with what Jonathan did was you're going to incur low to maybe high, depending upon the person, levels of trauma through seeing their friends in a horrific situation.
Yeah, obviously
you're desensitizing them to that too.
Yeah, Colleen's friends were actually like I think one of Colleen's friends was crying when seeing Colleen in a gurney, but that's because that's her friend. Like
exactly.
Yeah, I think that's what she was, because someone was like, "Why are you crying?" And she's like, "Because that's my best friend in a gurney." Like,
dude, if I saw you getting taken away, I would have been dying laughing.
Right, exactly. Like, again, I was like, "Oh shit!" And they actually put me in the back of the cop car, like, and I was sitting back with real handcuffs, and I was like, "I do not like this." Like, I was
That's so funny.
I thought about telling the cop, like, "Hey, can we like actually not put the handcuffs on?" Just like, no. But then I was like, you know what? I actually want to know what it's like.
And you it's not wanted comfy. To go through it, dude.
Yeah. So now I know I never want to be in the back of a cop car. But that doesn't mean that I was never in the back of a cop car handcuffed.
You were.
I was. Yeah.
So how does this relate to your story? I cut you off a while back.
Again, I worked for a lot of haunted houses. Coming into, like, I did a lot of haunted houses stuff. Like, I did it for family, did it for school, stuff like that. And it was just something that, you know, I was more the person that would go out of my way to try to jump scare people. And that's what I had a lot of fun doing. But just because I went out of my way to go jump scare people doesn't mean that it was a good haunted house. You know, But I think what was scary, one of the scariest ones I did was out in my aunt's house. Basically, it was in the middle of nowhere. It was in the woods, and they had like a shack that they ended up putting like tarp out where you would walk through. And it was completely dark. Like, they would give you like this little tiny light to like guide yourself. And you had like crawl at some parts, and like anybody could just pop behind a tarp and like scare you.
Yeah.
And like there were parts where you come into like a room full of strobes. And I think that fear of not knowing where you are and not knowing where to go and having the littlest tiny light, I think that's what made it scary. And then not knowing what's going to come around the corner. But that doesn't mean that like it's always a good one, because there's like a ride at like the state fair that is like you go in a little cart and it takes you through a dark room, and it's like, bah, jump scare, bah. And then someone, you know, it's stuff like that. That doesn't mean it's a good one. Yeah, you got that scary element, but it's not it's not like the scariest thing in the world. Now, those haunted houses that you can do where they can actually touch you, they can actually do stuff, you know, whatever. Like, I'm not saying like physically hurt you, but when they can actually be a little bit more boundary pushing, I think that's what's scary. I think those are scary.
I agree. There's a couple of these, and potentially one in the future. In my future, that leads into maybe tune into the Halloween episode.
Yeah, yeah.
A good haunted house. I would actually argue too that a good haunted house might not be made through that extreme, like through touching and whatnot. I almost see that as like a cheat code. I don't know. Maybe I'm like, you need to work for your scare. I don't know. I don't even know if like touching in a haunted house is like the extreme grabbing and stuff like that is a good way to like get scares. It almost seems cheap to me, but at the same time, like maybe I just have too high of standards for like what should be in a
I don't
haunted
know.
house. I don't know.
Like again, I'm not really the person to ask because the really only haunted houses that I've been through are like little ones for like school, churches, and then scare wins was another
Yep.
one, and like those were fine.
I didn't think the Scarowinds ones were too bad.
They weren't bad, no.
Yeah.
Like they were pretty. Like there were ones that were like, oh shit, like this is weird, but then again, it's like it's just I don't know. It's just
Yeah.
walking
No, I
through,
completely agree.
jump scare, you're out.
I completely agree. So, basically, the consensus on the haunted houses is it needs to basically just not rely on cheap scares to get you. That's
Right.
that's where we're at, and creating a cool environment is super important.
I actually have one hot take,
What's that?
and if you want to cut this out and you want to put this in the Halloween episode, we could do that instead.
Okay.
But so I recently saw a video. I recently watched this video. I'll send it to you and I'll link it in the description. Where this guy was basically talking about how Halloween is different nowadays compared to what it was like when we were younger. He's about our age. So basically, what he's saying is he felt that a lot of people back in the day would like everyone was going out doing like trick or treating. Everybody was going out like just doing something on Halloween, celebrating Halloween in some type of way. Whereas nowadays, it feels like there's not as many trick or treaters anymore. Or if they are doing trick or treating, they're doing something new called trunk or treating, which doesn't have that same element of like going to someone's house that's fully decorated and like ringing a doorbell, trick or treat, getting a treat, and going to the next house. It's trunk. Do you know what trunk or treat is?
Yeah.
Okay. For anybody who doesn't know what trunk or treat is, it's basically all these cars coming to a parking lot. Mostly churches are the ones that are like hosting these, and people will decorate the back. And like you park your car, you decorate like you could decorate the back of your car if you want to, and kids will just walk up to the back of your trunk, get a treat, go to the next car until you've gone all the way around the parking lot. And he basically said something on the lines of that doesn't feel the same. And a lot of people, especially millennials who are now able to buy houses, they're saying that they're not getting any trick-or-treaters, and they're so excited to be that person on the other end of the house because they still love that Halloween spirit and they still want to be able to celebrate Halloween.
Do you know why I think a lot of it's changing?
COVID.
And I've been reading about this as I've been listening to you.
I think COVID's one of the biggest reasons it changed.
That and poison candy myths.
Whoa.
This is
what?
always, dude, it's always been around. Like they stuck a razor blade in the people's candy, that kind of mess. But
First
I
off,
do
what
think
fucking psycho do you have to be to do that shit?
here's the deal though. These are myths and urban legends that rarely, if ever, happens. There have been no confirmed cases of poison candy.
Okay.
And anytime that it has been shown has been super rare. But I do think that a lot of people worry about it. And I'm wondering if there's been a rise in this. Therefore, people are trick-or-treating less and less and less. Because like you're saying, it's saying right here in this article, events are being held more often at Christian churches, police and fire stations, community centers, and retail stores. These are people you know. These are people you feel like you're safe with. And it actually says right here, the primary risk to children's health and safety on Halloween is being killed by a car.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're more likely to get hit by a car than you are to have poison candy on
Right.
Halloween.
Like I always wondered, I was like, what fucking psychopath is putting like, because I saw ones that were like people are putting like sewing needles into like uh Twix, not Twixes. Yeah, is that what it is?
Yeah,
Not Twix.
or just like candies.
Like candy in general. And it's like, what fucking psychopath like does that shit? And now hearing that it's a myth, that makes a lot more sense. You know?
Okay, here's this. In 2000, this is like one of the confirmed cases that did not end in a death. In 2000, in Minneapolis, a mentally ill man put needles in candy bars and gave them to trick-or-treaters. One teenager received a minor injury. So, no deaths, but these things are just a lot of hoaxes. I mean, almost all tampering cases, they're usually at a rate of one or two per year, involve a friend or family member, usually doing a prank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
And most of them involve a sharp object, which that's a pretty crappy prank.
I think the one thing that I really agree with that he had talked about in this video was saying that like it could, because it is a lot of older generations that now own houses, and when the millennials own like start to own their own houses and stuff, it's already
Hmm.
known that those neighborhoods don't like trick or treat around there because the older people are going to bed earlier,
Yeah.
and they're not staying up for that kind of stuff. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't neighborhoods with what Gen Z, not Gen Z, I'm sorry, Gen X or boomers who aren't doing that, but it's just more known that they're not really going to stay up for that kind of stuff. They don't really like Halloween or anything because again, back in their times, that was known as like witchcraft and stuff like that.
Oh, for sure, dude. Do not come on my lawn whenever I have a house. I will not give y'all any candy.
Oh, fuck that, dude.
Dude, nope. Don't
When-
come on my lawn.
When we moved to this apartment complex, I didn't know if there were going to be trick or treaters coming up to an apartment complex, which they don't, and I get that. But I'm like, I told Colleen, I was like, what if we put up a sign saying like, we give candy on Halloween or something like that at this apartment? And she's like, then you're gonna look like a fucking creep. I definitely I wanted to kind of get your opinion on it. I know we already kind of said something, but like, do you feel that maybe like the younger generation aren't really trick-or-treating as much anymore? Like, do you
I don't
feel
think
that
they are.
do you feel that it's like different than how it was when we were kids?
I've gone to the store on Halloween, around 6 or 7 whenever everybody's supposed to be out. Nobody's walking around. I'll see like one kid and his parents walking or driving on a golf cart going house to house, but then none of the houses are really open. I do remember trick or treating and like every house having like the dad sitting on the porch with a thing of candy, or the mom at the door, like just even if they weren't home, they had like a little thing out. Take some candy, and you always take more than you should, but I don't see that anymore. And I remember after one year, we went trick or treating, and I went down to the local playground with all my friends, and we had all our candy, and how fun it was just to, okay, what'd you get? I got this, I got that, and we would trade, dude. Memories.
I actually have an opinion on it. I think, what in your opinion, what is the cutoff age to go trick or treating? There's
13.
there's no right or wrong answer. You think 13?
13, 14?
Dude, I say like 18. Cause listen. A lot of those older people, a lot of the older kids, such as me, what I was doing was I was with younger kids because I had family members who would want to go trick or treating, and I was basically watching over them.
You're cheating. You are cheating.
No. Because listen. Because people were actually mad that I was trick or treating with them. Because so when I was 16 years old, I dressed up as Negan from The Walking Dead, because this was when Negan was like huge in The Walking Dead. And I went with like some cousins of mine, and I was watching them like so, but I wanted to go get candy with them because like I still felt like I was young enough to go, but I wasn't old enough to like where it's like weird, that's kind of
I agree.
Maybe 16 is like the cutoff age. Maybe 16
No, but I feel like no, like if you're going out and the deal is, the reason I said you're cheating is because if you have kids with you, I think you could be any age as long as like you're looking after kids like while they're trick or treating. But if
Right.
you're like, I want to know what age you think you can like go alone, and it
Oh,
becomes weird. Like if you're showing up as a 16,
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
I don't, see, that's where you get me, because like if a 16-year-old came up to my door and was trick or treating, I wouldn't think twice about it. Now, if a fucking 24-year-old man came up to my house trick or treating with him and his girlfriend, I'd be like, a little weird, but I'm not gonna not give you candy. But here's the thing, man. I was out there with them, and so many people refused to give me candy that night.
Are you kidding me?
No, like I don't know if it was because people thought I was older than I was, because I had like a fake beard like kind of drawn on my face, because Negan has a beard and I was 16,
Yeah.
couldn't grow one out, and it just like, and I had like the outfit. People knew who I was too. People knew that I was dressed up, and I had like the fake bat and everything, and people were like,
You're
aren't you
not coming here.
aren't you a little too old to be getting candy? Blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I'm out here with my cousins.
Dude, that's crazy. I disagree.
Like, that was insane. Like, the amount of like people who refused to give me candy was insane.
Stingy people, dude.
Like, and that really hurt me, because I think that was one of the last few times that I actually genuinely went trick or treating.
I can't even remember the last time I did. I just have memories from doing it whenever I was younger.
Yeah.
What was okay, I have another question for you. What was the best candy you could get?
I don't know the people who are going around giving out full fucking chocolate bars or shit. And this is just kind of like a personal preference of mine. I don't like chocolate, really. I'm not a big chocolate guy. But if there was like a candy I really enjoyed that like I was happy to see, was either like a Crunch bar or like a Kit Kat.
Oh, chocolate.
Yeah, so yeah, chocolate, but it's not like a Hershey's chocolate. It's not
Yeah.
like straight chocolate. It's got like, nuts. It's got caramel. It's got
Are you kidding me? Those little chocolate Hershey bars, those things are so good.
no. Also,
I loved
also, this is you can keep this in if you want. You can take it out if you want. Mr. Beast's chocolate bar is like not any different than Hershey's. It's not.
Ooh.
Like, if that's like, if there's different ingredients, sure, but to me, it's chocolate. It's not.
Have you tried the new recipe? Because I heard they came out with a new recipe.
I only tasted the one with like when they rechanged the name, not the name, but when they rechanged the bag of it, or like the wrap of it.
The branding,
Yeah, I tried that. I'm like, maybe it's just because I don't like chocolate, but like, I'm like, it's just not. It's just chocolate. It's just fucking chocolate.
It's okay. I don't know. I don't like it. I love Nerds. Whenever I get a Nerds, ooh boy, I'd eat that thing up.
Yeah.
I used to eat up some Nerds.
I actually do have one more thing before we end.
Oh yeah.
I am going to send you all right. So I want you to look in actually I'm just going to DM it to you.
Okay.
So she ended up finishing up a lot of fonts and a lot of designs.
Guys.
So I think this is going to be one that I think you're going to be able to pick. Which one do you want? I like the middle one.
I like the middle one too.
I think that one's dope as hell.
I think that one's really dope. I think that's what we should go with.
You think you like that one?
I like the middle one.
All right.
Dude. Heck yeah. Okay, this is coming full circle, everyone.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's jump into our rec, and then we're going to zoot out of here.
Yes, sir.
My recommendation for the day is From. It's a TV show on MGM Plus, and I have seen the first 2 seasons. The 3rd season just came out, and me and Cameron are going to definitely tune in. The creators of Lost made this show. Basically, what it is it's a group of people in a nightmarish town somewhere in America, It traps anyone who enters it. The unwilling residents strive to stay alive, but they're plagued by terrifying nocturnal creatures from the surrounding forest. They keep on searching for a way out, and they find more and more secret, hidden tombs and all this kind of crazy stuff. Basically, let me give you the rundown. If you are in this town, you can't escape. You may leave, but you will just end up right back in the town. During the day, you can carry on, do whatever you want, but at nighttime, you have to go inside, because if you don't, there are these people, creatures. They're not people, but they look like people, and they walk around smiling, and they can't come into your house because you have like these things hanging from your house, and they can't enter if there's a thing hanging in your house. Um, and they'll basically smile and try to lure you out. If you open the door for them, they gruesomely murder you, and it's like terrifying. It's a really, really good show. And basically, we started a free trial and like watched the first 2 seasons in a week. And the third season just came out, so we're gonna probably pay for a month and just knock it out because it's such a good show. It's such a good show.
Yeah.
So go watch From, everyone. It's so good.
Is this the end of the episode?
Guys, we went for a longie today. A long one.
Holy shit.
I hope that you all got some cool movies, some cool shows, games to play this Halloween season. And if you have any questions about any of these, feel free to leave a comment below. But other than that, we will see you this Halloween with a very special episode. And I'm going to leave with a new tag at the end. I know Jonathan's going to love this. Everyone, stay spoopy.
Cool exit!